Now let's get to the Texas race for U.S. Senate. This is a big one. Incumbent Senator Ted Cruz is facing off against Congressman Colin Allred.
Cruz is hoping to secure a third term in office. During his campaign, he said his #1 priority as a senator will be jobs. Democratic opponent Colin Allred campaigned on border issues, the state's abortion ban, as well as health care.
And if we could look at those numbers here in this race, if we do have it for the race for U.S. Senate, at last check, it showed that Cruz was in the lead of Allred. I believe it was at 52% over 46%, and those were early voting numbers in that race. But we, of course, have team coverage on this race for U.S. Senate.
Alicia Nieves is in Dallas right now covering the Colin Allred campaign. But first, let's go live to Megan Reina. She is live in Houston with the Ted Cruz campaign. And Megan, I understand that he is about to take the stage here in a few minutes.
Yeah, guys, sorry, there's a lot going on right now. We know just about 30 minutes ago or so, another news outlet did call this race. CBS, we have not called this race yet. But once they did, the crowd erupted and people started heading towards the stage, and we were just told by one of his staff members that he's set to take the stage any minute now, so we're going to stay with you until he does. But like I said, this crowd really did explode here. I think a lot of people expected this race to be more neck and neck. When we look back at Beto O'Rourke and then 2018, that's not quite what we're seeing so far with the numbers that we have in. Again, we have not declared this yet, but it appears that Cruz will take the stage and I believe a victory speech, and we'll hear from him in just a moment. We know he was just in our area yesterday in Selma campaigning to around 500 people, so he has still up until the last few days pushing for votes in South Texas, but really traveling around in rural areas. I think there was a lot of confidence coming into today. There really hasn't been much anxiety from this crowd as far as this Senate race goes. The presidential race, their eyes are still on the screen, of course, as they're watching as those results come in. But there's a lot of energy, and there's a lot of people out here, several people, 100 people out here, I'd say. You have families, I've seen a lot of young people, young women and men out here supporting Ted Cruz and the Republican Party here in Houston, Texas, of course, his home. And like I want to mention in the past, San Antonio normally does vote blue, Houston as well. But again, it's those rural counties, when you take a look at the map, that overwhelmingly support Ted Cruz. And again, that is where he was focusing his campaign, pushing on the border issue and immigration, really trying to say that Colin Allred is too liberal for Texas. His slogan is "Keep Texas, Texas," and you're seeing a ton of people holding those signs. I want to actually pan to the crowd right now so I can just show you what we're seeing. All of these people, I know that, again, our photographer is doing our best to show you what we're seeing right now. But this energy, it's growing. People are anticipating him to step on the stage at any moment right now. I want to mention again, we have not declared him as the winner, but he is pulling ahead of Allred. So I'm going to send it back to y'all just for, well, actually, as I say that, we hear the crowd erupt. We might stay with you for just a moment longer as we're waiting. We're told any minute now that he's supposed to take the stage here. Yeah, and I just as I'm here with you, let's talk about money in this race. There's a lot of money that went into it by both parties, $160 million. Allred did out fundraise Cruz in this race. And there's a lot of money spent on, you saw them, those ads that were playing throughout this election cycle. We know Republicans spent $68 million in those ads, mainly targeting the transgender and sports issue, and then, of course, immigration as well, which both candidates discussed heavily. And again, Cruz really just trying to push that Colin Allred is, in his words, he says he is Kamala Harris. And so that's been a big part of his campaign as well, campaigning against the Harris and Waltz campaign here in Texas. We know Texas was already declared, Trump already was declared here in Texas. And whenever that was declared, the crowd also erupted. So really, this watch party, I mean, obviously is not just for this Senate race here. They're keeping a close eye on that presidential race as well. Again, we were told any minute now that the senator is supposed to take the stage and address his supporters. This was a free but ticketed event, meaning that you had to RSVP, but I mentioned a little bit earlier, I am seeing a diverse crowd here. I am seeing a ton of families. I'm seeing a little boy on his father's shoulder holding up a Keep Texas, Texas sign. I'm seeing young people, young women and men, and then of course people, older people as well. So this really is a pretty diverse crowd representing Houston here tonight. And I want to just kind of point out that there was, coming into this race, people were expecting it to be a bit closer than what we're seeing right now. But we're still waiting for those final numbers to come in. I think when we last checked, we had about 56 or 65, I want to say 65% of those votes in. I'm taking a look right now. Ted Cruz up 53% to Colin Allred at 44%. And we had actually 1.96% go to Ted Brown, which I'm sure Allred was hoping that those votes, that 163,000 votes would go towards him. But right now, yes, it's looking like Cruz has a pretty steady lead over him, 53%, according to our reporting, over Allred's 44%. We aren't calling it quite yet, but it feels like this campaign is. And so that's what we're waiting for, is what appears to be a victory speech from Ted Cruz, looking to serve 6 more years representing Texas and DC, his 3rd term. So again, we're waiting. I think I might send it back to y'all just because you know how politicians are. They like to keep us waiting.
Absolutely, Megan. And as we're waiting there for Ted Cruz to
come out. I'm over here like, what else can I tell you?
As we're waiting for him to come out and speak to the crowd, kind of talk to us about the change in energy. I mean, we've been checking in with you all throughout the night, beginning at the 7 o'clock hour, when it was empty. I mean, clearly, for those of us watching from home, and we're watching the screen, you're there in person, but for those of us watching from home, you can see just a change in the energy, a change in the vibe in the room. Talk to us a little bit about that, how that's transpired over the past hour or so.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I will say a lot of people were kind of in the hallway, in the behind the media staging area, so they weren't necessarily gathered where, in front of us near the stage. So there was still a large crowd. Everyone's just kind of chilling, talking with each other, having a good time. But now you're seeing this energy pick up. More politicians taking the stage. We're still waiting for Mr. Cruz himself to walk on stage here any moment now. But you can see, family members joining him, or we're still waiting for him to walk on stage. I'm going to step out so you can see. I'm guessing any second now he's walking out here. But yeah, so there was a more relaxed atmosphere, not sensing much anxiety all night. And then, of course, the energy just ramped up, and it's really when they started bringing out those results. The crowd would cheer every time they saw Trump took a certain state. And then, of course, whenever an outlet, different outlet, not our news outlet, called Cruz over Allred, things just really went crazy, and people were holding up their signs. So it's been, an exciting night for all of these supporters that came out here, again, to this event that was, it was free at event. So you're seeing a lot of different people from across the Houston area. Yeah,
some friends and family and supporter. Obviously, we also see Kim Ogg there on stage. She is the Harris County District Attorney, a Democrat who endorsed Cruz. So just some notable folks there on stage as we get ready to hear Mr. Cruz speak.
And as we looked at those numbers that Megan was mentioning, so right now Cruz, which as Megan mentioned, a lot of his supporters, and you hear them, they're excited with the numbers that we're seeing. 53% for Cruz right now, with Allred at 45%. About nearly 700,000 votes is what's separating the two. I mean, and Megan, you even talked about the money that has been poured into this race from both sides, because Democrats, they were hoping to flip this seat, which hasn't been done in Texas. I mean, I think, as you mentioned, in over 30 years.
Since 1994. And, Democrats thought it was going to happen. They thought it was going to happen this time around because it was so close with Beto O'Rourke last time. The margin was like 200,000 votes or so. This one, a much more sizable difference so far. Again, we're not declaring him the winner right now, but Ted Cruz with a sizable lead over.
Megan, have you seen any more people join you or join the stage so far, or does it look like the senator is going to be heading out? I know it's tough to tell probably from your vantage point.
Yeah, no, there are a few more people trickling onto the stage right now. And so it's just any moment now, right? They tell us about 10 minutes ago, it's 5 minutes to go. So no, we're still waiting. But let me tell you, it is getting loud in here. The music, I feel like they blasted it even louder as people started to take the stage. I mean, I don't know if you're hearing Thunderstruck, so that one's a crowd pleaser for sure. But no, we're still waiting, and I want to go, just back to the point with the money spent in this campaign, $160 million, and one of the most expensive, or rather between two of the campaigns. So in this race, $160 million between Allred and Cruz, one of the most expensive races out of all in the US. And a lot of eyes, were on this race because of what it could potentially mean for who controls Congress. So this race had a lot of eyes from across the country on it. But again, this crowd is just, what it's telling me is that they feel very victorious right now. Want to reiterate, like we've been saying, we have not called this race yet, but those results are starting to pour in, and as just the margin between the two, it's starting to grow. So they're feeling energized, and I even saw, it looked like a staff member walk up to the podium there, maybe to do a last minute check, maybe make sure his speech is correct. So yeah, it is any moment right now. We just want to stay with you because we don't want to miss it, because we feel like any second now.
Well, it could be any second, or it could be another 5 or 10 minutes. So I think we're just going to monitor things for right now, Megan, if that's okay. We're going to just monitor the situation. If you could ping us when he does go on stage.
Of course.
Because we do want to get to our Alicia Navis, who is in Dallas. She is covering the Colin Allred campaign. Alicia joins us live tonight. Alicia?
Hi, Isis. You were talking earlier just about how high the stakes are in this race. I have never seen this many photographers, this much media ever in my 12 years of reporting than I have here tonight. This room is filled with people, but it's also filled with hope. A lot of people, they're glued to their phones watching the other races tonight. They're glued to the TV, cheers going on as the national races are called, but they're hopeful that Colin Allred will be the one to change Texas blue after y'all said, to win a Senate seat, to turn that seat blue, because we've been waiting decades. So Colin Allred is expected to speak a little bit later on tonight, and who we just saw was Wendy Davis, former Texas politician. If you'll recall, she spoke in the 11-hour filibuster. We just got word that Ted Cruz has taken the stage. Let's take that live.
Tonight is an incredible night. A huge victory here in Texas. Right now, we're up by 8 points at over 600,000 votes. And they're still counting votes. It also looks very likely that we're going to have a Republican Senate next year. And I believe, and I hope and pray, that Donald Trump will be reelected as President of the United States. I want to say thank you, number one, to my extraordinary wife, Heidi, my best friend in the world. Such an amazing partner on this magic carpet ride of life. And I want to say thank you to our two beautiful and amazing girls, Caroline and Catherine. Politics at times exacts a price on the family. And I want to say I am so grateful for their love and support, and you guys are amazing. Thank you. I also want to give a special shout out to Alexis Nungary. Alexis, thank you for your incredible courage speaking out for your precious Jocelyn, and your courage has made such a profound difference in this nation. We're going to. I also want to thank all the Democrats across Texas who crossed over and supported my campaign. Including especially Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg, who has stood strong for prosecuting violent criminals. And I want to thank every Texan across our great state who has stood with us in this fight, who worked and who fought for Texas. I want to congratulate Colin Allred on a hard-fought campaign. And I want to say to all of those who didn't support me, you have my word that I will fight for you, for your jobs, for your safety, and for your constitutional rights. But tonight, the people of Texas have spoken. And their message rings clear as a bell across our great state. Texas will remain Texas. You know, the media were ready to write off Texas. And Chuck Schumer poured in more than $100 million to our state. Well, I want to say thank you, Chuck. And I hope we win a few more Senate seats tonight because you wasted so much money in Texas. They deployed every trick, every lie, and every Hollywood celebrity they could find. Chuck Schumer tried to buy this Senate seat like it was a piece of Manhattan real estate. But he learned what we've always known, that Texas isn't for sale. And Texans can't be bought. Amen. Over the last 2 years, I've traveled every corner of this state, from the Panhandle to the Valley, from deep East Texas to far in West Texas. We have traveled 9,094 miles, 53 rallies all over the state of Texas. I've worn out my boots, at times my voice, and certainly the patience of my incredible political team, who did an amazing job on this campaign, and I think is the very best team in all of politics. And what I found traveling the state of Texas was worth every single mile. Because everywhere I went, I found something that gives me profound hope. Common sense isn't dead. It is alive and well in Texas. Everywhere I went, I met Texans who share a simple dream: to keep their families safe, to keep their freedom secure, and to keep their Texas values strong. Tonight, we are witnessing incredible results, especially with Hispanics across the state of Texas. And we are seeing tonight generational change in South Texas. The results tonight, this decisive victory, should shake the Democrat establishment to its core. I've spent months in the Rio Grande Valley, sitting in family kitchens, visiting small businesses, praying in local churches. And let me tell you what I learned. Our Hispanic communities aren't just leaving the Democrat Party. They're coming home to conservative values they never left. They understand something the liberal elites never will. There's nothing progressive about open borders. There is nothing compassionate about chaos. And there is nothing Latino about letting criminals roam free. And just for good measure, we're not tacos. We're small business owners who know that lower taxes means more jobs. We're parents who know that secure borders mean safe neighborhoods. And we're families who know that Texas energy independence means prosperity for everyone. And I found this same awakening to common sense everywhere I traveled. I saw it in the eyes of Texas mothers, tired of being lectured to about their values, their faith, and their children's education. I heard it from energy workers in the Permian Basin and the Eagle Ford Shale, men and women who know that American energy independence isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about national security and freedom. It's about families being able to fill their gas tanks without emptying their bank accounts. Look, common sense isn't complicated. It tells us that borders have to mean something. It tells us that laws must be enforced, that children deserve innocence, and that prosperity comes from work, not a handout. And here's what common sense tells us above all, that the people who built Texas, whether their families came 5 generations ago or 5 months ago, understand Texas better than any social engineer in Washington ever will. When I return to the Senate, I carry with me not just a victory, but a mandate. A mandate from the people of Texas. And let me be crystal clear about what that mandate means. First, we must secure the border. Not with empty promises, but with concrete and steel and law and order, and with the unshakable resolve from knowing we are protecting those we love. The cartels who poison our communities, the traffickers who prey on the innocent, their days are numbered. Second, we must unleash Texas energy. The answer to America's energy needs isn't Venezuelans, oil fields, or the Ayatollah in Iran. But rather it is right here in Texas, in the Permian Basin, and throughout the state of Texas.
And as you heard there, Senator Cruz addressing his supporters, very energetic right now on the stage in Houston. Quoting the senator, he says, "The people of Texas have spoken. He is content with the results. He also said this is an incredible night. And his words, the senator saying this is a huge victory in Texas. Content with the results as he is up by 8 points right now.
Essentially giving a victory speech tonight. He also reiterated his support for former President Donald Trump and wanted to thank every Texan, as you mentioned, across the state. He also congratulated Colin Allred for a hard-fought campaign. Speaking of Colin Allred, let's go back to Alicia Neaves, who is live in Dallas covering that campaign tonight. Alicia.
Well, it's been kind of a roller coaster of emotions out here, Henry and ECs. We hear boos when there's a projected Republican winner. We hear loud cheers when a state goes blue or when a projected winner is a Democrat. You know, hope isn't lost. The race has not officially been called yet. We are expecting, of course, to hear from Colin Allred tonight alongside his family, his wife Allie, and his 2 children. Moments ago, right before we took Ted Cruz live, Wendy Davis, a Texas politician, took the stage. You may recall she did the 11-hour filibuster in an attempt to block passage of SB 5. It was a bill that would essentially shut down all but 5 abortion clinics in the state. And I say that because the topic of abortion certainly a huge issue in this race for Texas senator. So let me let you take a look right behind me. This is a packed house inside the Longhorn Ballroom just south of downtown Dallas. There is no room to sit here on the lower level, so we have lots of folks standing up, watching the numbers come in live. Congressman Allred, he has beaten a high-profile incumbent before. Once again, he has not taken the stage just yet tonight. We are waiting to hear word from his staffers about when that might be. But he was really hoping that people would get the message that 12 years was long enough for Ted Cruz, that Ted Cruz had the opportunities to fix the border issues, to fix issues that are plaguing our state, and he wanted the chance to serve. And he has been a 3-term congressman serving the 32nd Congressional District of Texas, and he is just hoping that the numbers might fall a little bit more his way. We will keep you posted on any more results from this race tonight. Live in Dallas, Alicia Neaves, Ken Sva.
All right, thank you so much, Alicia. And we're going to take a quick